Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm very excited about this review. And no, this is not the 2016 version of this movie that I'm reviewing. I am reviewing the 1959 remake, honestly, because this is a remake of the silent film of Ben-Hur. And this is continuing my series of my favorite films, because Ben-Hur is my number 4 favorite film of all time. And if you've watched my first couple of reviews of Lord of the Rings, Mad Max Fury Road, and 2001 A Space Odyssey, you're going to start noticing that a lot of them are pretty long. And if you don't count the extended editions, Lord of the Rings, this takes the ticket at 3 hours and 32 minutes. And it is a different genre, too, because I do enjoy fantasy and I love science fiction, but this historical epics are something that really engage me, too, and where I feel like I'm in this sprawling story, and Ben-Hur is the definition of epic. William Wyler's direction, this story is so sprawling and hits on so many big epic themes and also intimate themes, and this is a long story with a lot going on, and William Wyler's able to balance this story and keep this going for 3 hours and 32 minutes. I never feel bored watching this film, and it's so interesting and is really brought to life by this tone of just this staged epicness of this film and the scope of this film and how the action is filmed in this particular movie is breathtaking. The battle on the seas between the Romans and some of their rivals and enemies is breathtaking, but you can't do a review of Ben-Hur without talking about the chariot race. It's one of the most amazing scenes I've ever seen in a film, and at some point soon I'm actually going to be counting down my top 10 favorite film scenes ever, and this is definitely up there. It's a breathtaking scene that keeps you on the edge of your seat, and how they are able to stage this and shoot this scene and really keep you engaged. This scene was actually very much referenced and homaged in Phantom Menace, Star Wars, with the pod racing sequence, because this is such an influential film. And this film won 11 Academy Awards, which is tied for the most ever with Titanic and Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King, and it earned them. And yeah, is this film a bit... Some people argue this film's a bit dated, and I will admit there's some offensive things in it in terms of there's use of blackface in this film, which is, in a time now, it's really unheard of and offensive to be able to do stuff like that, and it's a shame that that was a regular kind of thing back in the 50s and 60s. But steering away from those, this is a film is so amazing and so grand and the pure definition of what a historical epic is supposed to be, and this has influenced so many things. We wouldn't have films like Gladiator or Braveheart without something like this that set the stage. At stuff like this in Lawrence of Arabia, that people want to see these grand stories on such a humongous scale. And in terms of the writing done by Carl Thunberg, Judah Ben-Hur is such a conflicting and complex hero, and you see him fall and supposedly rise, but come back as somebody who he truly doesn't want to be, and trying to find his true meaning in life and what can really connect him back to what he used to be and find his faith again. And that's why this novel by General Lew Wallace was Ben-Hur, A Tale of the Christ, as he parallels the life of Jesus Christ. And the ideas of faith and those themes are so prevalent in this film, which is why they made a Christian remake by Christian organizations last year for $100 million, and it bombed. I think it's because nobody was calling for a Ben-Hur remake, and this film stands on its own and is admired by so many that a lot of people, I know myself included, were kind of turned off by an idea of them remaking it nowadays. And this film is so iconic, and the powerful messages and the performances, which I'll get to in a second, but the breathtaking cinematography by Robert Surtees is breathtaking. The grand scope of some of these shots, and some of the one particular shot where you see Jesus over his shoulder speaking to his flock, and way back in the distance you see Ben-Hur walking away, and really using shots like that to really elevate the themes and the ideas of what's going on, and that's great cinematography. And the action sequences, there's no quick cutting, crazy fast editing in this. You see the action play out in front of you, and it's breathtaking, intense, and thrilling. And one of the most well shot sequences in the history of film is that chariot race in this film. And in terms of the music by Miklos Rosa, the music is sprawling and epic in every sense of the word. And I know I keep bringing up epic, but you can't speak about this film without really understanding that this defines that genre of film, those historical epics. It really sets the stage for so many films to follow this. And the music really gives you that atmosphere and that sense that this is a grand thing that you are watching. It's operatic on a level that brings you up to these heights and really hits those emotional peaks in this film. And in terms of the performances, I'll admit, Charlton Heston is my favorite actor ever. And a lot of people might be surprised by that. And I was reading an article from Tim Burton and him talking about how much he loves the Omega Man and how Charlton Heston is the greatest bad actor ever. Shame on you, sir. The thing is Charlton Heston that classically trained Laurence Olivier or that method actor Marlon Brando? No. He is the definition of a movie star. Him and John Wayne, they hold such gravitas and such screen presence, and you can't teach that. That is something that you just have to have. And does Charlton Heston command every single frame that he's on the screen? Absolutely, and that's why he won Best Actor for this film. You feel the emotion and everything going into this because he is powerful and shows you those emotions and really brings it to a higher level. And a commanding performance like this film wouldn't work on this grand scale if he wasn't somebody who could elevate himself to that level too. And in terms of the supporting cast, Jack Hawkins as the consul that he saves, and he does a fantastic job. I enjoy him in this and also Bridge on the River Kwai. He has some great scenes with Charlton Heston and really makes a believable connection of respect between those characters. Hugh Griffith, the character with the black face, is very charming and funny and brings some breaks in the tension in this, but forgetting the fact that he's playing an Arab man with all that makeup on, he does a fantastic job. And I also really enjoyed him in this film Tom Jones as well. And then Stephen Boyd, who plays Masala. And this story, the Judah Ben-Hur and Masala, this whole entire film is based off of their relationship and where they grow as human beings that brings them to conflict. And you can really see the brotherhood that is between these two characters in this film and the chemistry between them. And Stephen Boyd does such a great job of elevating himself to be on that level, having to act against Charlton Heston of all people. Because Charlton Heston, with that screen presence, could overshadow a lot of people, but the supporting cast in this film do such a great job of getting up to that level. And a smaller role from Frank Thring, who plays Pontius Pilate. I always really enjoyed him a lot in this film, and he brings an interesting gravitas to this character, which a lot of people just know him. He's the man who killed Jesus. And you get to see him as an actual human being, showing feelings of, oh, I have to go out to Jerusalem and Judea and be this consul here when I could just be in Rome. And like, humanizes him, but also in a way where he is such a aristocratic person, and you kind of get that above you kind of vibe from him. And he really brings a potentially really controversial character. And one of the things that I love about this film is how powerful the sequences when Jesus Christ pops up. You never need to see his face. And the music and how everyone else reacts makes this mystique around him and really makes his presence powerful in this film and in the story that really inspires Judah Ben-Hur. I love this film. I've loved this film since I was a kid, and obviously I'm going to give Ben-Hur an A+.